Dana White called him personally, offered him more money than any heavyweight had ever seen, begged him to sign. Fedor said no. Not once. Multiple times.
Left jab hook. Oh! Page about where he's going to attack. Big shot by Arlovsky. And it's all over!
The #1 heavyweight in the world for 7 straight years never stepped inside a UFC octagon. And later in this video, we will tell you exactly why. But first, let's talk about what he was doing instead. Fedor Emelianenko, the last emperor. 6 feet tall, 230 pounds, looked like someone's quiet neighbor. His first 2 fights in Pride FC told the world exactly what was coming. In his Pride FC debut, Fedor immediately took the 6'11" Schilt down.
And he got the takedown.
And scored repeated punches and knees to his face.
Rolled the other way.
Dominating all 3 rounds for a unanimous decision.
Look, see the timing on that? Doesn't even try to defend the takedown.
The biggest man in the room, controlled from the first second.
Loss is to TK Kosaka.
2 months later, Heath Herring, one of Pride's most respected heavyweights.
And he goes. I'm telling you.
Fedor damaged Herring so badly,
Easy punch is coming.
the ringside doctor was forced to stop the contest at the end of the first round. 2 fights, 2 statement wins.
You're facing Fedor. Do you think he's going to be your toughest fight?
I think so. He's a good fighter, great.
Pride FC had seen enough. They gave him the title shot. Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, the Pride heavyweight champion. The most dangerous submission artist on the planet. His guard was considered the most dangerous position in MMA. Nobody had dominated him. Nobody had submitted him. 27,000 people in the Saitama Super Arena. Nogueira pulled guard, considered the most dangerous position in MMA.
Should get up. He's landing.
Fedor survived everything.
Here's a threat. He's a big time.
Dominated him for 20 minutes with brutal ground and pound.
Uh-oh. Video game, as good as it is. Oh!
The judges rendered a unanimous decision, and Fedor became the 2nd Pride heavyweight champion, a title he would never lose. He was 26 years old.
Right, Fedor. That's his good friend, Kevin.
In the 2004 Grand Prix,
From the under the arm, reining in.
he submitted the first ever UFC heavyweight champion, Mark Coleman, in 2 minutes.
Brother and Vladimir Gorbachev. And Coleman at the tap submits Mark the Hammer Coleman.
A lot of respect for Randall.
He didn't make any
Then came Kevin Randleman, former UFC champion,
pound weight advantage.
2-time Division I NCAA wrestling champion. Randleman delivered a German suplex,
Turns it around.
slamming Fedor headfirst into the canvas, a move that became one of the most replayed highlights in MMA history.
Yeah, you gotta
Talk about
Fedor, seemingly unfazed, rolled over Randleman seconds later and forced him to submit with a Kimura.
Oh, here we go.
There is.
Slammed on his head, got up, won. August 2005. The fight the entire MMA world had been waiting for.
Damaging Krokop, and now with that.
Mirko Cro Cop.
And wow, what a right by Emelianenko. High left kick.
Cro Cop broke Fedor's nose with 2 sharp left straights in the opening minute.
Maybe another kick. Krokop against.
Then pressured him for 3 rounds,
Fedor did a great job.
winning a unanimous decision.
The most 7-0.
Pride FC collapsed in 2007. Fedor needed a new home. The UFC kept calling. He kept saying no. Instead, he signed with Affliction.
Follow my instructions. We will have a clean.
His first opponent, Tim Sylvia,
Yeah, this is.
former 2-time UFC heavyweight champion.
Oh, nice.
Fedor submitted Sylvia with a rear naked choke in 36 seconds.
The hook's going for a rear. Tim Sylvia, but he's got that. He tapped it. Fedor.
Then came Andrei Arlovsky, former UFC champion. Arlovsky had some early success landing punches and kicks.
Good strategies. Trying to take.
Then, as Fedor backed into the ropes, Arlovsky attempted a flying knee.
Arlovsky.
Fedor countered with an overhand right, which knocked Arlovski out cold at 3:14 of the first round. SureDog named it Knockout of the Year for 2009. Now, why did Fedor keep saying no to the UFC? The answer was never about money. Fedor's management team, M1 Global, insisted on a co-promotion clause in any UFC deal, meaning M1 would have to be credited as a co-promoter on every Fedor fight. Dana White refused. Negotiations broke down every single time. Fedor himself said little publicly. He let his team handle it. But the real reason was loyalty. Fedor's management had been with him from the beginning, and he refused to leave them behind for any amount of money. The greatest heavyweight alive chose loyalty over the biggest stage in the sport. Then came the moment nobody saw coming. Strikeforce. June 2010. Fabrizio Verdum. Fedor knocked Verdum down early in the first round, then closed in, and Verdum secured a deep triangle armbar from his guard.
He tapped there, he's got his arm straight.
Fedor was forced to tap at 1:09 of the first round.
Unbelievable!
10 years, 28 fights, one controversial loss, his first real defeat, and it came from the one mistake every fighter in the world knew not to make against Verdum: walking into his guard. The MMA world went silent. 3 straight losses followed. Antonio Silva stopped him on doctor's orders when his eye swelled shut.
Big fool!
Then, Dan Henderson's famous H-bomb right hand put him down for the first true knockout of his career.
Unbelievable! They stop it!
3 in a row. The greatest heavyweight in history suddenly looked human. Fedor stated that his future in MMA was at God's will. He retired in 2012, then came back, won some, lost some, fought all the way to 2023. He retired for the final time on February 4th, 2023, with a record of 40 wins and 7 losses, holding victories over 7 former UFC champions. He never fought in the UFC, never held a UFC belt, never got the send-off that organization could have given him, and he never lost a moment's sleep over it. The man who said no to Dana White, who chose loyalty over money, who fought the best fighters in the world for 2 decades and made it look like he was barely trying. The last emperor, the greatest heavyweight who ever lived.